The Love Life and Lose Weight podcast will teach you the art and science of changing your habits around food. If you know what to do, but can't figure out why you're just not doing it, this is the right podcast for you. I'm your host, Advanced Certified Weight and Life Coach, Heather Beardsley. I've helped hundreds of women just like you figure out how to think and eat like a normal eater, lose weight, and love life on the journey to goal weight and beyond. I can't believe it. We've reached episode 100 of the podcast. I'm so excited. I feel like celebrating. This is such a great moment for me personally. And I just want to thank you for tuning in and, being a part of my audience here to talk about my passion, which is to help women reach their weight goals in life. And it's been so rewarding. I hear from a lot of you. If the podcast has been helpful for you, if you talk about how it's helped you, or if any episode has helped you, would you do me a favor? Would you go over to your podcast app, however you listen to it, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, whatever, and just leave me a review, preferably a 5-star review if it's been helpful for you. 5-star reviews really help the podcast get found by other people, and you would be sharing something valuable with other women who may not know about my little podcast and also get the value. And I really appreciate you doing that for me. I'm going to keep showing up here, hopefully with lots of value for you as we continue on into the 100+ episodes as we make our way to 200. So again, thank you for being here. Today, we are continuing our discussion about some of the tools that are inside the follow-through planner. I'm sharing these tools with you, whether you work with me one-on-one or have the planner or don't have the planner. You should have some of this information that is really making a difference for my clients to reach their goals. Today, we're talking about eating less without underfueling yourself. This is something that you need to get really clear about and become aware of, because it is still surprising to me how often I figure out that my clients are actually under eating, and that's why they're not getting results. And under eating is something that seems maybe surprising to hear about, because we associate so much being overweight with overeating. And I would say that that's probably the most common habit that leads to wanting to figure out how to lose weight, is figuring out how to overeat less often. But this other quieter condition comes in where my clients are chronically underfueling and undereating. And they may have been dieting for so long that they don't even really realize how much they are underfueling themselves. So I want to give you some clarity about this and some awareness to help you figure out and make sure that you're eating enough. The rise of GLP-1 weight loss medication, I think can, for some of us who aren't trying to do harm, right? It becomes easier for you to really, truly undereat when you're on this medication. And we have to be vigilant to make sure that we are not dieting through restrictive dieting through the use of GLP-1 medication, because if you are chronically undereating with a big caloric deficit between what the fuel you're taking in your dietary food and the fuel that your body needs just to run your body functions, you're going to have some negative adaptations that happen that will slow down your metabolism and affect you in other ways. So I'm going to go through this worksheet that is inside the planner. So if you have the planner, I want you to take a look at it. It's called Are You Eating Enough? And it would be under your tools section on the top of your planner. And if you don't have the planner, you can take notes on this and get everything that you need. I'm just going to give it to you here now. Okay. So you might want to grab a pen and paper and be able to pause the podcast to write some things down and then start again when you're ready. So the question of are you eating enough, again, is about under eating, which creates something that we call low energy availability, LEA. Okay. So if this is especially true for active women, sometimes this can really happen. If you are an athlete, if you have a very robust exercise routine, and you are trying to eat less to lose fat, you're skipping meals, or you're relying on medications to kind of push through and delay eating as long as possible, you may be unknowingly underfueling yourself. This can lead you to this state called low energy availability, where your body doesn't have enough fuel to support the physical activity that you do and your basic biological functions, like hormone regulation, your brain health, and muscle repair. So even if you're doing everything right, if you're under eating and you're in this low energy availability state, you're going to disrupt your hormones. You can stall your fat loss. This can increase your fatigue and worsen recovery time if you are working out. So, what is low energy availability? Okay, again, it's getting too few calories to cover your daily needs and support your activity. This doesn't always come from extreme dieting. It can often sneak in through well intentioned efforts to lose fat, skipping meals, pushing past hunger, skipping snacks when you're hungry, not fueling your workouts, overtraining because you like doing too much movement in one day. And it can also come from blunted hunger from all kinds of medications, not just GLP-1 medications, but that's definitely the case with GLP-1. That's what it's designed to do, is to blunt your hunger. So what are the common signs of being in a low energy availability state? Feeling cold often, feeling low energy, brain fog, mood swings, poor recovery after workouts, or when you are working out, like your performance that you have been used to doing, like it starts to dip or decline. You may not be able to push as much weight or run as far, for example. You can also have trouble sleeping or frequent wake ups in the middle of the night. Another sign is constant hunger or little to no hunger drive, where the hunger signals just sort of start to shut down. Another classic sign is irregular or absent periods if you're premenopausal, if you're still getting your period. So let's talk about being in a caloric deficit, which is what we recommend to lose fat. What's what I teach, right? How to create a slight caloric deficit versus being in a low energy availability state, being underfueled. What's the difference between the two? So, healthy fat loss involves a small intentional reduction in calories, just like 100 to 250, maybe up to 500 calories a day, depending on your height, right, and your current weight. It's small pre and post workout fueling are involved in a healthy fat loss caloric deficit. You will be fueling your workouts both before you work out and after you work out. And you will be having balanced meals, plenty of protein, and rest, especially after hard workouts. That's what healthy fat loss, being in a slight caloric deficit, looks like. Now, by contrast, being in a low energy availability state where you are underfueled chronically, you're going to see too few total calories to cover your basic needs, including your exercise. You're going to see your body kind of move into survival mode where your metabolism decreases, your stress hormones increase, your muscle and your bone mass could start to decrease, and your fat storage, because of your increased cortisol and stress hormones, will go up, especially around your midsection. So while, the way that I teach sustainable fat loss, I don't teach tracking calories or macros because it often leads to a sense of being over controlled or being in restrictive dieting and like this rigidity that is associated with that. This is like the opposite of what I want my clients to experience. But if you suspect that you could be under eating, which is leading to a state of low energy availability, that this could be potentially blocking your progress. If you've recognized some of the common signs of LEA in yourself, where you are feeling cold, you've got brain fog, you've got trouble sleeping, you're constantly hungry, you've got cravings, or maybe no hunger at all, then you can briefly check in with caloric intake, and this can help you identify, especially if you're on a GLP-1 medication that suppresses your hunger cues. So this information is taken from the work of Dr. Stacy Sims. This is not from me. You can read more about what she shares on low energy availability in the books that she's written. Okay. This is not from me. This is from Dr. Stacy Sims. Thank you, Dr. Stacy. So there's a formula here that you can follow, and I'm not going to really go over it, but safe to say, because it's too much to talk about, you're going to need to get my planner to look at this formula. And if you don't want to get the planner, then buy Dr. Stacy's book or take it out from the library. The one I took it from is from Next Level. Okay. And you can do the math here just to make sure that you are taking in adequate calories. But the truth is, you may not even have to do that. If you get on a professional in-body scale, which is what I've told you how to do on these podcasts in the past 2 months, it will calculate for you what your total energy expenditure is. So this is the total amount of calories that your body burns day to day. And you don't want to ever go below that amount, right? Because we are active and hopefully we're moving and stuff. So you certainly don't want to be more than a little bit underneath that for any period of time, or you will have some of these negative adaptations of low energy availability. Okay. We don't have to make this complicated. The formula is there for you inside the planner and inside Dr. Stacy's book if this is you. But I think that you can talk to your doctor about generally how many calories you're eating, what your average activity is for the day, and you want to make sure that you are at a minimum meeting your physiological bodily needs for calories. And, hopefully in the exercise that you do, that extra portion would represent the slight caloric deficit that we try to get you to eat to for healthy, sustainable fat loss. Okay. So the goal is never to create a large caloric deficit. Your takeaway is if you're constantly tired, constantly hungry, or you're not seeing results on the scale, you may just be underfeeding yourself. Experiment with fueling yourself strategically a little bit more, especially first thing in the morning. Before you even have coffee, you may want to just have half a banana, a little bit of nut butter, right? Just to get something in the tank that will turn off these kiss peptide neurons that are very active in postmenopausal women. And their job is to determine whether or not the human is fed, if she's in a fed state before she goes out and expends her energy for the day. So this is why for postmenopausal women, or even for women who are in perimenopause, you may have been able to manage your weight by fasting or, fasted workouts. That may change for you when your hormones change. So the general rule is we want to have you strategically fueling your body, and you want to be giving your body calories when you're most active in your day. So the timing of your caloric intake starts to matter more. We're no longer playing this game of let's see how long I can go without eating. And then when I can't take it anymore, I'm going to eat 80% of my entire calories for the day late in the day. That just doesn't work anymore because the truth is you're not as active late in the day. And overfueling later in the day burdens your body with a caloric surplus that it's then tasked with doing something with. It has to pack away those extra calories that you're eating all in one sitting. And it has to turn it into glycogen and stuff it in your muscles and stuff it in your liver. And when you start to run out of space because you're eating all in one go later in the day, because you're playing, restrictive dieting game, this can lead to fatty liver, and too much stress in the body. To be honest with you, the body that isn't fed is stressed. And we have to really wake up to the reality of compassionately and in a caring way, fueling our bodies every day, even if you want to lose fat. Our bodies still need calories. The goal is to just create that slight caloric deficit where you are well fed earlier in the day. You're having a little snack before you work out. You're having a protein optimized meal after your workout. You're having about 60 calories of dietary protein by the time you're finished with lunch every day. This is going to optimize your hunger hormones, your ghrelin and your leptin, your satiety hormone, so that through to the end of the day, you're optimized in your hormones. Your dietary protein needs have been mostly met, and that will decrease cravings. You will feel sated, you will feel satisfied, and this sets you up to not overeat later in the day, where you would probably be creating that slight caloric deficit with a little bit lighter of a meal later in the day when you're not as active. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. Really taking a critical look to, am I underfed? And what is the timing of my fueling? Am I giving my body the fuel it needs to perform, especially if I'm active, right? Have I met my minimum needs? And how am I creating just that slight caloric deficit by eating to 70, 75% full if my primary goal is fat loss, and making sure that you've sort of wrapped up your eating at least an hour or two before you go to bed so that you set yourself up to be a fed human during the day. You create that slight caloric deficit later in the evening. You go to bed, you're beautifully set up to burn some little bit of fat overnight. And if you can do this consistently, you can create consistent fat loss on the regular, which gives you results like kind of like compounding interest. It starts to add up, starts to feel easy. And let me tell you, if you have been working out fasted, the experience of giving yourself a little bit of fuel before you start to ask yourself to perform strength training, Pilates, bar, running, whatever it is that you do, it just feels so much better to move your body and be fueled at the same time. You deserve that. Your body deserves that. Okay. I hope it's been helpful. Come and visit me on Instagram and let me know your thoughts about the episode. I'd love to hear from you. You can find me at Thrive in Midlife on Instagram. Stay focused and so long. I want to let you know that the digital follow through planner is all new and improved, and it's out for the calendar year 2026. It includes many new updated worksheets, and it's a complete system to help you follow through and implement habit change and mindset work on your own at home. I created this planner as an implementation system for my one-on-one clients so that they could see the patterns that I see as a coach. Not only that, but it also includes my complete integrative weight loss system. Everything I teach you about how to sustainably lose weight without restriction is in there. And I know that since not everyone can work with me, I wanted to make the planner available to you too. This planner will change how you do goal setting. It will change how you do your habit tracking. And it's designed to be doable and flexible, whether you are primarily losing fat, um, if you want to gain muscle, if you're in maintenance, or if you're still in weight loss mode. This planner works for all of that. I'm really excited to show it to you. Go visit hbeardsley.com/planner and have a look. You've got testimonials there. You've got pictures of the worksheets. You have descriptions of all of the new stuff that I put in there to help you create a comprehensive system to help you follow through. I'm super excited and proud of it, and I hope you love it just as much as my personal clients do. Hey, if this episode resonated for you, then let's connect. Visit hbeardsley.com/subscribe. That's HBEARDSLEY.com/subscribe and become a VIP subscriber. You'll learn how to work with me. You'll get 2 free gifts, access to exclusive VIP content, and get a discount on the digital follow-through planner.